For boys basketball preseason classic action, this is Game 3. Please welcome our guests wearing the black jerseys, visitors on the scoreboard. From Lake Region High School, they are the Thunder. And they'll be taking on the Apopka High School Blue Darters, wearing the white jerseys and home on the scoreboard. Because we are a little late getting started, in the interest of saving time, we're going to introduce the starters now while they finish their warm-ups. And we'll begin with our guests from Lake Region, starting at guard with sophomore number 1, Jodner Eisenaddy. At small forward and guard, freshman number 3, Jamarius Edler. At guard, number 10, Brenton McKinley Allen. At center, sophomore number 14, Marquise Kendall. And finally, for the Thunder at forward, senior number 24, Andrew Lee. Starting for the Blue Darters, at shooting guard, 6-foot sophomore, number 1, Darren Leaf. At guard, 6-foot junior, number 2, Brandon Johnson. At point guard, 6'3", junior, number 3, KJ Robinson. At center, 6'8", senior, number 4, Sam Alexis. And finally for the Darters, at forward, 6'5", junior, number 5, Philip Tepper. Mr. Orinthia Simmons, and for the Blue Darters, Mr. Scott Williams. The officials for tonight's game are from the Central Florida Officials Association here in Orlando. We thank them for their dedicated service to our high school athletic programs and join them along with our participating schools. Reminding everyone to make great sportsmanship a part of this and every athletic competition. We also would like to let those of you who are in the arena know that we are live streaming tonight's game online on YouTube and the NFHS network. If you have friends and family who were not able to join us in person tonight, you can let them know that they can just search for Wekiva Sports on their favorite computer, smart TV, or mobile device. Again, the channel name is Wekiva Sports. We also simulcast our games on the NFHS network. And we welcome those of you who are joining us just so on YouTube or the NFHS network. This is Mark Barchi, the voice of the Mustangs and sports information director here at Wekiva, joining you for tonight's game along with Neil Fisher from the Apopka Chief.
And as always, Mark, an excellent job of introducing the starting lineups. Lake Region in the blue jerseys with possession, Apopka in the white jerseys. Both these teams come in after being involved on Monday night in decisions which were 20-plus. It was the first shot of the game. That was Clark, unable to drop the deuce. Apopka winning. Well, we'll get to that in a minute. That's a tray draining the rain, 3-0.
KJ Robinson puts the Darters on the board.
So Apopka defeated Pine Ridge. That game was 73-46, a 27-point victory. Lake Region fell to Wekiva, 78-35, a 43-point margin. Those were your scores on Monday night. This, of course, is the Wekiva Boys Basketball Preseason Classic, Night 2.
Brenton McKinley throws the ball out of bounds. Darters ball.
The third and fourth games of this Preseason Classic. So this is Apopka going to work. That's Tepper down in the corner, launches, and drains the rain.
Philip Tepper from Brandon Johnson for 3.
So 6-0, Apopka draining a pair of trays to get this game going. And the steal and the withdrawal from
Brandon Johnson steals 2 for the Darters.
Apopka returns only one starter, 3 players in total. And Brandon Johnson, the player who just stole and scored, is the lone starting returner who's starting as we get a foul.
Timeout called by the Thunder. 30-second timeout requested by Lake Region.
So an energetic and electric start for Apopka. They take an 8-0 lead a minute and a half into the game.
Welcome back to Mustang Arena. Mark Barchi here with Neil Fisher as we continue in Game 3. It's the second night of the 2021 Boys Basketball Preseason Classic, and so far it's been all Apopka.
Yeah, turnovers and strong rebounding has carried the Apopka to that 8-0 lead. They opened the scoring with a pair of trays. Robinson and Tepper dropping those trays, and then we saw Brandon Johnson, the lone returning starter, making the steal and then dropping the deuce off the backboard for that 8-0 lead. In the meantime, Kearney Balentz, that was a 15-foot jumper, no good. And so Apopka has a chance to get that lead up to double digits. A lot of background stories going into this game. We'll get more into those as the game develops. We're only 2 minutes in. As Robinson hands off to Tepper. Go back to Sam Alexis, who was the star under the boards on Monday night. He went double-double. And Apopka's not going to get that opportunity to double-digit lead. The travel call, the first turnover of the game for Apopka. So once again, the final score of the game, Pine Ridge versus Apopka, was 73-46 in favor of Apopka. And you don't need a basketball guru to understand that was a very solid performance by Apopka, as they will get the ball back again. Some great defense, and we saw the same on Monday night, that defense spearheading those great offensive play. Apopka shot 43% from the field. As we come back the other way, and the withdrawal off the bank by Belance.
West to McKinley for 2.
So in the meantime, this is Brandon Johnson. He'll launch and drain the rain.
Brandon Johnson for 3.
11-2, 3 minutes in. Apopka took the lead early, and they continued to lead. So
Apopka's not really penetrating that well, but you don't have to when you're that hot from behind the arc.
Yeah, again, Apopka shot 43%. I'd say it's about average, as Alexis pulls down his first rebound. And
that's also a block shot for him.
Transition. On the other end, Tepper lowers the shoulder and the finger roll.
Sam Alexis from Brandon Johnson.
So Apopka's improved their field goal percentage from 43% total on Monday night against Pine Ridge. They're now shooting, I'd say, probably over 60%. 3.5 minutes into this ball game, and they're going to get an opportunity to keep building that lead. The lead is now 13-2. As Robinson brings the ball up over to Alexis on the perimeter. Leaf down to Alexis. He's going to try the deuce. Can't get it off the heel. Smart rebounding in the right position at the right time, and draws the foul.
Foul is called against number 3, Jamarius Edler. That's his first personal foul, and the team's first.
So another important stat in the game Monday night, Apopka versus Pine Ridge. Apopka had 47 rebounds compared to 25.
Checking into the game for the Thunder, number 12, Malachi Scott.
And turnovers were actually 17 apiece. So you go back to that rebounding, and again, you don't need to be a basketball guru to understand when you're out rebounding your opponent by a 2-1 margin, you're going to get more shots, which means you have more room to miss a few. This is Tepper from the right wing. Short, long outlet pass, second pass, and the withdrawal from the bank.
Edler to Scott for the Thunder basket.
So 13-4. Apopka still with the 9-point lead as Robinson launches, rims out. And Lake Region, we saw this against Wekiva on Monday night, that long outlet pass. And there you see exactly what happened against Wekiva. A turnover out to Tepper. He'll tap another tray. Drain the rain for the big
Tepper
man.
From Brandon Johnson for 3.
And as you mentioned, Mark, hot shooting for Apopka continues. And not so hot from Lake Region Edler unable to drop that tray. Come back to the other end. The finger roll.
Darren Leith, coast to coast for the Darters.
I believe, Mark, that's the first basket inside the paint that Apopka scored tonight.
No, they had a stolen layup earlier.
Oh, yes, that's true. Johnson got the layup. But still, only 2 field goals from inside the paint. And an 18-4 lead, so that means they're shooting hot from outside as we were going to get, as the foul was called.
Offensive charge called against Bretton McKinley. His first, the team's second. Charge taken by Sam Alexis. That turns the ball over to the Darters.
So once again, we're seeing both these teams go back to what happened on their games on Monday. Apopka's just a nasty lockdown defense. They've done it pretty much the entire range from team to one-on-one, as that's going to be short by Robinson. Come down the other end. The baseline, the spin, no withdrawal, denied. And we come down the other way. A strong rebound for Brave. Excuse me, that's Lewis. Came in during the last timeout. Robinson clanks off the rim, but again, Lewis making his presence felt on the boards. Apopka set up again. They have an 18-4 lead. They scored the first 8 points. Robinson, the lone returner and senior on this team. Robinson with the ball again, looking down low. That's Alexis. Kicks it out to Lewis.
Wide open. Can't get the tray to fall, though, but putback not there either.
Hard work underneath by Alexis. So Alexis, once again, he brought his Windex bottle. He's cleaning those boards. I believe he has 3 now.
That's what I have.
Unfortunately, Apopka turns the ball over. So an opportunity.
Well, that wasn't a turnover. That was a jump ball rebound.
So Lake Region goes to work, and as you like to say, Mark, one good turnover deserves another.
Well, that's going to stay black ball, yes.
Okay, that was not a turnover.
It was a deflection.
The inbound pass from Lee. He'll get the ball back, makes the decision, drives the lane, kick out. The shot from Belance, and Apopka continues her strong work on the boards. Again, in their first game of the season, that was Monday night against Pine Ridge, a 47-25 advantage in rebounds for Apopka.
Foul called against number 44, Jabari Johnson. That's his first, the team's third.
So 18-4, minute and a half before the end of the first quarter. Robinson hands off to Sibley. Back to Lewis, who draws the foul. The drive, the attack.
Foul called against number 44, Jabari Johnson. That's his second personal foul. And the team's fourth at the line, shooting 2 for Apopka, number 12, Elijah Lewis.
And another repeat from what we saw Monday night is the foul situation. Lake Region got into foul trouble very early in that game against Wekiva. Wekiva reached got into bonus with about 2 minutes before the half. Lake Region now has 4 fouls with 1:19 left in the first quarter. Credit the rebound to Dangerfield, and Apopka sets up and goes back to work, 19-4, looking to get that lead over 16. The drive, the stop, the go, the launch, nothing, crash, the boards, and too much mustard as far as the body control. Apopka commits its first foul of the game.
Darters foul called against number 12, Elijah Lewis. That's his first personal foul, the team's first.
Inbound pass to Lake Region. Jalen Clark brings it up. Actually, that's Clark with the ball now. He'll go down low. Along the baseline. And it'll be a Apopka possession.
So Kendall stepped out of bounds. Darters ball.
So a fast start. Literally, as far as the pace for Apopka, they certainly have brought a lot of energy for the second consecutive game. Stop, pop, and no drop for Leith. Cleaning the boards.
That's
Lee. And he'll hand it off. Down to the right corner and drain the rain.
Brenton McKinley from Trevin West for 3.
So Apopka will look to rebuild that lead. Lead now down to 12, 19-7, 15 seconds remaining in the first quarter. And Apopka, a couple of turnovers now in the last 3 possessions. We saw a similar situation at the start of the second quarter against Pine Ridge on Monday. They turned the ball over 4 times in 6 possessions at the beginning of the second quarter. In the meantime, McKenzie.
Deflection out of bounds there by Elijah Lewis. 7 seconds left on the clock.
Lee inbounding. Underneath. Oh, too much mustard trying to make the withdrawal. That was Ezanati. 1 second, launching, and a lot of action the last 4 possessions. No points, though, and the score remains 19-7 at the end of the first quarter. Apopka taking the quick lead.
That takes us to the end of the opening 8 minutes of our third game in the 2021 Wekiva Boys Basketball Preseason Classic. A 12-point advantage for the Darters at the end of the first quarter, 19-7. We'll be back with the second quarter here at Mustang Arena right after the break.
Mustang Arena, the site of the 2021 Wekiva Boys Basketball Preseason Classic.
The Darters have the opening possession of the second period.
Day 2, Game 1. Apopka taking an 8-0 lead against Lake Region, and they are now up to 19-7 as we begin the second quarter. Apopka in the white jerseys. No foul. And we come down the other way. Down into the corner. The drive by Edler. And off the boards, a foul.
Jamarius Edler draws the foul. He'll go to the line and shoot 2. The foul called against Darters number 24, Andrew Lee. His first personal foul, the team's second. And a 30-second timeout requested by Coach Williams. We'll be back in just a moment.
Apopka 19, Lake Region 7, the first of 2 games tonight. This is the 2021 Wekiva Boys Basketball Preseason Classic, about 150 fans in attendance. And Apopka holding a 19-7 lead, that 19-8 as Edler, Jamarius Edler, is at the line. And there is a connection here between 3 of the 4 coaches, head coaches. Scott Williams, of course, is the head coach of Apopka. He's been there for 8 years, but he spent 7 seasons as the ball does not drop in and Apopka comes the other way. At Wekiva, the host school, when it opened, started the program. The long-range tray, that is Jordan Ford, who came in during the break.
They're going to say that was Alpha Southall, so it'll be Thunderball going the other direction off the rebound.
So the Wekiva coach who plays at 7:30 against Pine Ridge, that's Josino Lubin, who begins his 8th season at Wekiva, and O.J. Simmons, who is the first-year coach at Lake Region. And you might be able to hear him. He's to my right as we got some furious action up and down.
I'm pretty sure that would have been basket interference if it had gone in.
Yeah, that did touch. But both those coaches, Simmons for Lake Region, Lubin for Wekiva, they were assistants on Coach Williams' staff when he was here at Wekiva opening up the Wekiva program.
Trevin West made a great move there to keep that ball in bounds. By all rights, that should have gone over his head.
And Brandon Johnson, the lone returning starter for Apopka, pulls out his Windex, and he'll take it over half court and set up the offense. Southall, hands off to Leith, back to Sam Alexis, the big man, showing some footwork outside. Down low, blocked, hand in the way, just snagged that ball out, and Lake Region comes back the other way. They'll take a quick shot. That's McKinley Allen. Some more Windex work. And unfortunately, Lake Region, they've gotten better. They began the game with a number of turnovers in the first 4 minutes, and they have reduced the turnovers, but they're still, the impact of those turnovers are still staying at the same level. An opportunity to cut that lead down under double digits goes by the wayside on that turnover. So Robinson, a little stutter step from the left wing. No drop. Rebound, Lake Region, come back the other way, the quick outlet.
And Neil, we talked about this Monday night with the Wekiva game against Lake Region. We've seen Lake Region kind of settle down a little bit in this game compared to Monday night. Monday night it was fast break or bust as we get a 3 from Trevin West on the pass from Brenton McKinley.
So this time Lake Region converts that opportunity to cut the lead to below double digits, 19-11. So Lake Region came out. They took some heavy punches, some hard punches as Alexis drains the ring.
Sam Alexis for 3.
So as I was saying, Lake Region was able to absorb those punches, but they still now trail by 11. It is not like it was Monday night, as you mentioned, Mark. They came out, Wekiva scored. They got that lead up to double digit very quickly within about 4 minutes, and they were never able to really recover. Tonight, Lake Region is still down by double digits, but they've been able to maintain that deficit no more than about 13. Robinson brings the ball up the court, working on the left wing. Down low to Alexis, the shoulder. Tries to go off the window. And now we're seeing that field goal percentage drop by Apopka. Those shots that were dropping in the first quarter aren't in the second. This is Lee. And clanks off the heel of the rim. Some bouncing around. And Robinson picks up the loose ball. Comes down, pushing the tempo. Stop, pops, gets some space, and scores.
Robinson on the jumper for 2.
24-11, Apopka on the right wing. And Lake Region again.
Traveling. Not
as many turnovers as they began the game during the first 4 minutes, but the impact is still the same. Apopka has now scored on their last 2 possessions, and what was a 9-point lead has re-increased up to 13. Lake Region certainly could not afford that turnover, and they're going to dodge the bullet as Alexis is unable to drop the tray. So 4 minutes remaining before halftime. Lake Region with an opportunity, but they're not going to get it. Turnover down the other line. The reverse, the Windex by Lewis, +1.
Lewis, and 1. Foul called against number 24, Andrew Lee. His first, and the team's 5th. Well, that's just about the worst thing that could have happened to Lake Region there. The turnover, the basket, and the foul.
Yeah, a situation, as I was describing before that turnover in the basket, of worse, of bad, as that lead grew from 9 to 13 on a couple of turnovers. Situation now goes to worst possible. Well, I thought it went to worst possible, but just when I thought that, it goes
Alexis
up another
gets
level.
the block, and now we're going to get a foul here. So that was Alexis block, Tepper rebound, fast break the other way, and Tepper draws the foul. Foul called against number 44. Jabari Johnson, that's his third personal foul. The team's sixth. At the line shooting, Philip Tepper.
So we talked throughout this game. We are now 12 and a half minutes in as Tepper now has 8 points. A lot of repeat from what we saw on Monday night. That was the first night of the preseason classic. This is the second night in the finale, 2 games tonight. And one of those themes that we've seen repeating as Apopka doing the Windex work, 3 rebounds, and Alexis taking that third. Couldn't get the ball to drop, but he will go to the free throw line. So one of those themes that we are seeing repeating tonight from Monday night, Lake Region took on Wekiva.
Foul called against Jabari Johnson, his 4th personal foul, team 7th. Alexis shooting.
And the final of that game was Wekiva 78, Lake Region 35. A lot of fouls committed by Lake Region. They actually put Wekiva in double bonus with about 2.5 minutes remaining. They've done that for Apopka. Apopka's now in the bonus with 3.5 before halftime. And Lake Region is not a deep roster to begin with, only 10 players. And now
Butterfingers.
Yeah, and like I said, Lake Region for a while, about midway through the first quarter till about 2 minutes ago, they were minimizing those turnovers. And there you see the impact. Alexis slam dance. Slam.
Alexis dunks for 2.
So Lake Region was reducing the amount of turnovers per possession in terms of the overall possessions for about 6 minutes. But now, as the withdrawal is made, those turnovers...
Jamari Sibley steals 2 for the Darters.
Those turnovers are now having a huge impact. The number is starting to go up as well as the impact. And Wekiva with a 22-point lead, 2:52 remaining in the first quarter. KJ Robinson will be at the line. So about 2 minutes ago, the lead was only 9. It's grown up to 22, and turnovers has really been the catalyst. Robinson sinks both free throws. 35-11 now.
Missed.
And we're coming back the other way. Another turnover and the withdrawal from Elijah Lewis. And Coach Simmons has seen enough. He calls the timeout. Again, a 9-point lead has ballooned to 25, 36-11. Apopka's defense forcing turnovers, the catalyst for that 25-point lead.
Full timeout called by the Thunder.
Mustang Arena, the site. Apopka, the Blue Darters, a 37-11 lead over Lake Region Thunder. Neil Fisher, Mark Barkey bringing you the action. This is the Wekiva Boys Basketball Preseason Classic. And what was a 9-point lead with about 4.5 minutes before halftime has grown to that 26-point lead. Turnovers, a theme in Monday night's game for Lake Region against Wekiva. It rearing its ugly head again. They committed 29 Monday night as the foul is
Jamarius Edler fouled on the attempt. He'll go to the line and shoot two. The foul called against Darters number 5, Philip Tepper. That's his first personal foul, the team's third.
And right now, the Thunder is on pace to match roughly that 29 turnovers they committed Monday night against Wekiva. Speaking of Wekiva, they will be playing Pine Ridge in the second game. That game slated to tip off at 7:30. Thank you for joining us on a Wednesday night. Of course, as my partner, Mark Barchi, likes to say, it's like whose line is it anyway? The scores don't count, the stats don't count, but all these coaches playing these preseason classics, it's an opportunity to get a feel for the team, as the ball will remain with Lake Region. 37-11, Apopka in the lead, 2:19 before halftime. And Coach Williams was very happy with his team's performance. Monday night they beat Pine Ridge 73-46, very much like tonight's game. They got off to a quick start, scoring on 3 of their first 4 possessions. In this game, Apopka took an 8-0 lead. And
foul called against number 44, Jabari Johnson. That's his 5th personal foul. He retires from the game.
And as you just heard my partner Mark mention, he's also the public address announcer. We have a player who's actually fouled out with 2 minutes remaining in the first half. So 9 fouls in total against Lake Region. We've mentioned it throughout the first half. That is another theme which is rearing its ugly head again from Monday night.
I have the same.
Who fouled out? I need a name. So Apopka will inbound the ball. KJ Robinson hands off. Working on the left wing, back to Carter Hankerson, seeing his first action. Darren Leaf, the sophomore. Handed back to Robinson, a more deliberate pace in terms of taking the shot. Now we get the 10-foot J and sink the deuce.
KJ Robinson on the jumper.
39-11. Yeah, Apopka slowed down the pace in terms of when they're taking this shot. They're not getting into transition. They're not looking to get into transition nearly as much as they were at the beginning of the game. But nonetheless, they are still moving that ball well with a lot of energy. The Trey attempt, battle under to the left, snagging that loose ball. Apopka, and rare turnover out to the corner. Edler, short. Sibley doing Windex work, and he's going to take it all the way himself. No go. The second attempt is a no-go either. Rolls off that rim, and now Lake Region's going transition. And had about 30 seconds of some fast and furious pacing, which amounted to no points. The lead remains 39-11 in favor of Apopka. They scored the first 8 points of the game. So Lake Region looking to cut into that lead. So once again, Coach Williams was very happy, very satisfied with his team's performance on Monday night. And he was
more Butterfingers.
And he was very happy in the sense that his team played exactly the way they thought that he and the coaching staff thought they would. He thought that the team throughout practice had demonstrated a lot of maturity and growth. And you never really know if that maturity and growth is going to continue once you actually play a live opponent. It did, though. So he was happy about that and felt like he got to learn a lot about what the players and teams can do. Again, their skill sets were exactly what he expected, but in terms of matching up against opponents, there was a lot of learning. And in particular, he said the intangible traits, as we'll hear Mark call out the basket.
Thunder basket by number 12, Malachi Scott.
He was happy, Coach Williams was happy with the energy and unselfishness his team played with. So as we get to the end of the first half, 5 seconds remaining, Apopka with one last opportunity. Lisa's going to stop popping, no drop. So Apopka unable to score on that last possession.
That takes us to the end of the second quarter. 39-13 is the score. The Darters with the advantage going into the locker room at halftime here in Game 3 of the 2021 Boys Basketball Preseason Classic here at Wekiva High School.
So Lake Region cutting into that lead a couple of baskets before the half, but as you heard Mark call, Apopka will still take that 26-point lead. A very impressive first half, a very methodical and a very cohesive as a team performance by Apopka. We'll be back for the second half of Game 1 tonight.
Welcome back to Mustang Arena. We are getting ready to start the second half here in Game 3 of the 2021 Boys Basketball Preseason Classic, and Apopka has been dominant so far in the first half.
This is the third game of the 2021 Men's Basketball Wekiva Preseason Classic. These two teams played Monday night. Apopka taking a 73-46 victory over Pine Ridge. Lake Region falling to Wekiva 78-35, and a number of themes are repeating themselves in the first half of this game as Lake Region has the first possession. At the top of that list is Lake Region fell behind quickly in that game on Monday night. They were down by double digits about 3 minutes in, and Apopka was on the other end building a double-digit lead in their game 3 minutes in, and Apopka took an 8-0 lead and an 11-3 lead at the beginning of this game. As with the
Darter
first
foul is called against number 1, Darren Leith. That's his first, the team's first of the second half.
The other theme which stands out at halftime after one half of play is Apopka's defense continues to force turnovers, 16 committed by Lake Region, and that has led to 36 shot attempts by Apopka. They've made 14 of them for 39% as we get a timeout.
30-second timeout requested by the Thunder.
So, again, 39%, not all that impressive a percentage, but when you're shooting 15 more than your opponent, you certainly have some room to miss a few.
We're going to jump out just long enough to run a quick ad, and we'll be right back.
In Mustang Arena, the site of Game 3 of the Preseason Classic, Apopka with a 39-13 lead, only 15 seconds into the second half. Coach Simmons of Lake Region didn't like what he saw, called a timeout, and that is Trevon West unable to get the deuce, and Apopka quickly brings it up. Another theme we saw from Monday night was the fast pace. Apopka brought the ball up. Stop, pop, and drop.
Brandon Johnson opens up second half scoring for the Darters.
And on the other end, another stoppage.
Foul called against Darters number 1, Darren Leith. That's his second personal foul. The team's second of this half, and it will send Jamarius Edler to the line, shooting 2 for the Thunder.
So again, another finishing up the thought about the statistics. Apopka has also rebounded Lake Region by a 24-17 margin. Certainly not as big as wide a gap as the turnovers, but certainly that does help. You get the high volume of shots as Sam Alexis pulls out the Windex and gets another rebound. Your leading scorers at halftime are Philip Tepper and KJ Robinson, both of Apopka, 9 points each, as Apopka continues the assault.
KJ Robinson bounces back and forth for 2.
The stop, pop, and drop for Robinson, who now has 11. The steal, Tepper with the slam.
Johnson to Tepper, stealing 2 for the Darters.
And I just spent about 30 seconds explaining that the themes are repeating themselves during the first half and now into the second half. Yet another turnover. Ooh, the alley-oop to Alexis, and he slams the ball through.
Sam Alexis for 2.
So Alexis getting into the act off of another turnover and a third consecutive turnover. Alexis using that frame of his, that 6-foot, 5-inch frame. And now they'll drains the rain. Darren Leith.
4-3.
Darren Leith draining the rain. Wekiva on a 7-0 run, make that 9-0. The pass in Alexis.
Sam Alexis.
And Alexis going slam dunk. 52-13, 2 minutes into the second half. Apopka coming out and taking care of business. 4 consecutive turnovers, 8 consecutive points.
We'll be back to Mustang Arena in just a moment. Welcome back to Mustang Arena. The Darters putting on a clinic just now with
8-0 run.
Yeah, 8-0
fueled by
run,
4
defense,
turnovers.
offense. They had everything. I mean,
the run fueled by 4 turnovers.
Lake Region blinked, and all of a sudden Apopka had 8 more points, and now we're in a running clock.
Yeah, the action was so fast and furious for about 45 seconds before that break. Didn't get a chance to tell you, but we are in a running clock, as Mark just mentioned. And that comes into effect when the lead is 35 or more points during the second half. So the second game tonight, this is the preseason classic. 2 games on Monday, 2 games tonight. Thank you for joining us. Wekiva, the host school, we are broadcasting live from Mustang Arena in southeast Apopka. They will take on Pine Ridge. And that game will start approximately 30 minutes at the conclusion of this game. That's Lake Region with possession of the ball. The shot short by Trevin West. And Apopka looking to continue to assault. Really what's been an assault, Mark. Very few mistakes by them, and they've made very few mistakes after mistakes made by Lake Region. So the inbound pass out to the left corner. Drain the rain!
Carter Hankerson to Jamari Sibley for 3.
And Sibley adds 3 more, 55-13, 4.5 remaining in the third. As we come down the other way, Lake Region trying to answer Apopka. Their tray is no good, clinks off the front end of the rim. This is Sibley, kicks it out to the right. Oh, a bad pass, and Lake Region comes the other way with McKinley Allen. He draws the foul. Only the
offensive charge is called against number 10, Brenton McKinley Allen. That's his second, the team's first of this half.
So correction, McKinley Allen actually committed the foul. And the fouls continue for Lake Region.
Yeah, the charge was taken there by Carter Hankerson.
So a lot of action underneath that basket. Score remains 55-13. The clock is running. As Apopka now goes back to work. Into the middle, the stop. Can't drop the deuce. Quick pass. Some hard work underneath the board. Ball comes loose. Sibley picks it up. He goes down to the corner from the left corner. The bench
what a gorgeous
rises.
Pass! Jamari Sibley to Jordan Ford for 3. Boy, that was a pretty pass.
Yeah, Apopka has been forcing turnovers this whole game, but now they're turning those turnovers into rain. Draining the rain, 3 consecutive trays, 58-13, 3 minutes remaining in the third quarter.
Checking into the game for Lake Region, number 1, Jodner Eisenati.
So Apopka shot 39% at halftime. They certainly have risen, that field goal percentage has risen here in the second half.
Dangerfield steps out of bounds. Thunder ball.
Inbound.
Fast break opportunity blocked.
And we go back to transition. Sibley leading that transition. He's going to pull up now.
Nice work by Hankerson off the bench to pick up that block shot on what otherwise would have been a transition layup made easy. Jumper doesn't fall for Dangerfield there, and the rebound goes to Eisenabney.
So a quick look at Apopka's schedule after the shot. Score the tray for
Trevin
West.
West from Eisenabney for 3.
So this is preseason action. Tonight's closes out the preseason action. Next week, the regular season begins, and that will start in Central Florida with the Metro versus West Challenge as we get
Carter
some win backs.
Hankerson from South Hall for 2.
And of course, the Metro versus Florida Challenge is hosted by Apopka. The steal, boy, he just snagged that ball. Sibley makes the withdrawal.
Jamari Sibley steals the layup for the Darters.
And Lake Wales is just playing on the back of its heels throughout this second half. And now we're going to get a stoppage, a chance to catch your breath.
Darter foul called against number 24, Brandon Southall. That's his second personal foul, the team's third. At the line, shooting 2, Jodner Eisenati.
So Apopka will begin the season once again at the Metro versus Florida Challenge, which they host. That will actually start on Wednesday, but Apopka will not take to the court until Friday, a 2:30 p.m. start against Lake Wales. And then on Saturday at 6 p.m., they take on Discovery out of Lake Alford. And then their first regular season game, Mark, is against Horizon on November 30th, a 7 p.m. tip-off. Meanwhile, back to the action and just a dominating performance.
Nice dribble move there
Apopka
on the reverse. Good pass, and it converts. Carter Hankerson from Brandon Southall.
Hankerson with the withdrawal.
They've had a couple of nice assists from Southall to Hankerson here.
Yeah, certainly. If you're Coach Williams, you have to be happy about that. That shows that you got some strength coming off the bench. You got some efficiency and some energy coming off the bench. 15 seconds remaining. We are in a running clock, so this third quarter will end with Jodner Eisenati at the free throw. Actually, it's a non-shooting foul, so Lake Region has to get the ball in. Only 2 seconds. A quick shot, and no shot. West unable to get that ball off. And so Apopka dominating in the first half. Thought they got as strong a performance, as clean a performance as possible, and they came out and surprised us, took it another couple of levels, and what was a 25-point lead has now ballooned to 48, 64-16 at the end of the third quarter in this preseason classic matchup.
Welcome back to Mustang Arena. The Darters have the opening possession of the fourth quarter. And, of course, the entire fourth quarter will be in a continuous clock situation as the Darters have eclipsed that 35-point margin to trigger that situation earlier in the third.
Bounce pass. No shot, but going in low. Bounce pass back to Brandon Southall, who makes the withdrawal.
Brandon Southall from Carter Hankerson for 2.
And Apopka now on a 47-5 run. That's been going on since about 3 minutes into the second quarter. 30 seconds into the fourth quarter, 66-16. Apopka came out on Monday night, the first game of the season, as the rain keeps falling.
Brandon Southall for 3 on the pass from David Marshall.
A 73-46 victory by Apopka over Pine Ridge. That's a 27-point victory, and they have certainly upped their game tonight against Lake Region. They're looking to go 55 points up. A 19-11 score about 3 minutes into the second quarter. Since then, 47 of 52 points scored by Apopka. Making the withdrawal, number 22, Jordan Ford.
David Marshall on the pass to Jordan Ford.
And we have seen really the complete arsenal of basketball that you can have in basketball, Mark.
Marshall just entered the game for the first time, and he's already got 2 assists.
Tripping call.
Foul called against Darters number 23, Carter Hankerson. That is his first personal foul and the team's 4th. Checking into the game for Lake Region, number 24, Andrew Lee.
So about 150 fans in attendance here at Mustang Arena, home of the Wekiva Mustangs, a very energetic crowd. Of course, most of them are from Apopka Nation, much to cheer about. As the long-range tray, that was college length.
And actually, at this point, Marshall and Dangerfield are the only two remaining Apopka players that still need to get in the book tonight with any points. They do have other stats, just not any points yet. So a lot of bench time coming up in the preseason classic, which is a great value.
Yeah, Coach Williams took all of his starters out early in the second half. Pretty much by 3 minutes in, all the starters were out.
Carter Hankerson is fouled on the attempt. He'll go to the line and shoot two for the Darters. Foul is called against number 14, Marquise Kendall, on the push. It's his first personal foul and the team's second.
So also want to let you know that, as we mentioned, the Metro versus Florida Challenge takes place next week, the day before Thanksgiving, and then Friday and Saturday after. 8 games all 3 days, 24 total. You can get that game on the internet. Mark and I will be broadcasting. We will be with you for all 24 games. And Apopka will be playing twice. In the meantime, 71-16 lead by Apopka, 4:20 remaining, a running clock. As Apopka has certainly showed the complete arsenal of basketball, both on offense and defense. And got some WWE action underneath the rim there, at least in terms of the grappling.
Held ball, possession Darters. Checking into the game for the Thunder, number 12, Malachi Scott.
So Apopka's effort has been both contributed by on an individual basis and on a team basis. They've certainly done everything you can expect. They've done it with the long pass. They've done it with the short pass. They've done it with mid-range shooting. They've done it with the trays. They've had 3 slam dunks. And they have cleaned the Windex. They've brought their Windex bottle and done some great work on the boards tonight. Of course, all of that, their offensive explosion, has been facilitated by a great defensive effort. At halftime, Lake Region had committed 16 turnovers. They are now over 30. And as I mentioned, Mark,
I'll give you a number on that.
As I like to say, Mark, you don't have to be a basketball guru to understand, number one, if you don't have possession of the ball, you can't score. But second of all, if you're giving the ball over to the opponent at least twice as many times, you're going to wind up on the losing end.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Coach Simmons is going to have a lot to talk about with his team when they get back to Eagle Lake, as this one goes out of bounds off of the Darters, so it'll remain Thunderball with 2.5 minutes left to go here. Coach Williams, meanwhile, though, I think has a lot to like about what he's seen here, although, he's gotten a lot of good bench time for his players, and we're going to get an and-one situation here as Trevin West gets the basket and a chance to make it a 3-point play. The foul is called against Darters. Number 30, David Marshall, his first personal foul, the team's 5th. So, Neil, you were asking a minute ago about turnovers. I have 22 in the books for Lake Region right now as the 3-point play converts for West. And Apopka, I have them with 9.
Yeah, so not quite as many here in the second half as in the first, but still a more than 2-1 advantage for Apopka as we drop under 2 minutes, 71-19. And Coach Williams talked about at the start of this game, he just wanted to see if his team could continue to build on what it did Monday night. Again, off to a great start this season, at least score-wise, 73-46 victory over Pine Ridge. No withdrawal, but the rebound, grabbing the rebound, is Hankerson.
Putback made by Carter Hankerson.
So second chance points. And Coach Williams talked specifically about not the tangibles or statistics or running, what his team was running on offense, as another tray is attempted, as we'll go down to 1 minute. But the intangibles, he was very happy and satisfied with the energy and the unselfishness that his team performed with on Monday night. And we've seen that tonight, probably even a couple levels more efficient. All in all, though, as you mentioned, Mark, if you're Coach Williams, you have to be happy with this performance, not just because of the score, but, you know, of course, we got to know Coach Williams, at least his style and his philosophy, when he was the coach here at Wekiva, Mark, and he was always harping on the subtle things, the little things, the things that you might not always see unless you're the coach, and his team has certainly done all of those tonight.
So there we had Edler shooting 1-1 after Apopka picked up their 7th foul from Carter Hankerson.
Yeah, and so score-wise, Apopka scored the first 8 points. It was Tepper and KJ Robinson opening up the scoring with trays. They then took an 11-3 lead, and they began to build that lead. A 25-point lead at halftime has now ballooned into a final of 54-point difference. Solid performance in the first half, just taking up a couple extra levels, and Apopka goes 2-0 in the preseason classic.
Takes us to the end of game number 3. We want to thank everyone for coming out to support your Blue Darter and Thunder athletes. Don't go anywhere except the concession stand if you're here in the arena. We've got more preseason classic action coming your way. Game number 4, we will wrap things up as our host school, the Mustangs, welcome the Pine Ridge Panthers. That's coming up next. That's going to start in about 15 minutes. It'll be a little bit delayed. A reminder to those of you who are watching us online that each game is on its own separate live stream, so you will need to exit out of this live stream and get into the next one. We will meet you there in about 15 minutes. Make sure you do subscribe, though, and thanks for tuning in. I want to also thank Keith Dickerson and his team at Wekiva TV Broadcast Production, helping to bring you tonight's game. For Neil Fisher, this is Mark Barchi, the voice of the Mustangs and Sports Information Director here at Wekiva High School, thanking you for tuning in to this presentation of Wekiva High School Athletics in association with Orange Technical College, both a proud part of Orange County Public Schools. We'll see you in about 15 minutes. Until then, good night from Mustang Arena.